How did you find this out? And are you worried now about your information?
Well, I received an email from AT&T listing the last 4 digits of the phone numbers for me and for the family, saying that the title is an incident, which is basically a security incident, and I mean, of course, the news was everywhere about what happened, and how many people will be impacted by that. The biggest problem we are facing here is this is a big invasion of privacy incident. The information the hackers got is basically a list. It's like a log, a list of phones and how many times you call certain phones, and the duration and the text, who you text, the numbers, just the numbers. There's no names, nothing associated with that. It's a total about 110 million people been impacted by that.
So what would a hacker want to do with that information?
That's a very good question. Point for cross-reference. For example, now we have the phone numbers. There are tools that will tell you who is actually the owner of this phone number, and you will understand their profile, you understand who they trust, who they call a lot, and it's at multiple levels. It could be a problem for some kind of blackmailing, some kind of extortion, or sometimes at the national security when this phone number belongs to somebody important, and you know exactly who or he or she is calling and how many times they call, how many times they are texting them. So there is a lot of issues with this process.
Yeah, AT&T is saying that the compromised data does not include the content of the calls or the texts, personal information such as social security numbers, birth dates, or other personally identifiable information. But they did learn about this in April, and the data that was taken, that was hacked from people, was between May of 2022 and October of 2022, so for that 6-month period. But we're just learning about it now. The FBI then got involved, which is why AT&T says it was told, to hold off on letting people know. And now they've also arrested a person. They have a person in custody for this. What does the FBI involvement signal to you?
Well, it means that this thing is really done by a group that probably, they have seen this happening before. When you talk about a company like this, which is spread over multiple states, now you're talking about the federal, bureau will come and to deal with it. So, and also it's a very important thing about the security of the systems. The whole story about what happened is AT&T used a cloud services provider basically to store this information, and that provider got hacked this year, and this is how they got to that information. This is why they're talking about it. It happened in April, because during that period of time there was a victim of a hacking process. Cloud services provider was a victim of a hacking process.
So AT&T is saying it's going to let customers know if they were impacted. You could get a text, an email, or get an actual letter in the mail about this. But people can also go onto their accounts to see if they've been hacked at all and see if their data was affected. Is that something that you did? Like, what should a customer do? If you're an AT&T customer, what should you do?
Right. Well, I received an email, and it's coming straight from AT&T, and there is no action from my side. There is actually, I can go to the website of AT&T and just look at, the update they have. Now, this is a very good point, and I'm glad you mentioned that. In the middle of this chaos, the fraud could happen. People can take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. They can send text messages, they can send emails, they can have phone calls to people that say, I'm with AT&T, I would like to confirm your social, your date of birth. They can do things that will take advantage of the situation. This is why it's very important to keep this in mind, to make sure that you don't share this information with anybody unless you are sure 100% that this is AT&T. And sometimes they will take advantage of text messaging. They send text message, click on this link so you can update your information, so your data will be saved. That's another problem in this case. So be careful about this. Be any suspicious activities.
Yeah, it's just going to open people up to like a whole other host of different scams that could be taking place. And as I was asking you that question about AT&T customers, this hack probably also includes, if you're an AT&T customer, you're calling and texting your friends or your family, your coworkers who aren't AT&T customers, their information possibly also compromised.
Well, there are phone numbers that will be exposed because when you are calling or texting, you're not only dealing with the numbers within the network of AT&T. You're texting and calling anybody.